What was once the Polk County Courthouse now serves as the Polk County History Center and houses the Historical Museum and Library. The museum serves Polk County's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. More details are coming up on Polk Place for March events. Make sure you stick around. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio is Jamie Jamison. She is the Curator of Education and Visitor Engagement. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for having us. We're excited to talk about upcoming events at the History Center.
Well, before we talk about upcoming events, let's do a rewind. I know we're in February, but man, Christmas was crazy over there.
Yes, Christmas was great. You know, we had a really big turnout for our Festival of Wreaths. Lots of community hours put in towards decorating the wreaths and bringing them to the History Center. And we sold every single wreath. It was fantastic. Lots of people went home with gifts for their loved ones to hang on their door. And Santa, oh my goodness. Our Santa appointments were booked solid this last year, and we're looking forward to hosting him again next year for those one-on-one opportunities for the children.
Huge success, right?
Yes. 2 thumbs up.
All right. So let's talk new exhibits. Got a bunch of new stuff coming in.
Yeah, we've got some great new programs and exhibits. Our first one that's going to be open through the end of March is Grandeur and Grace. And Grandeur and Grace is a series of portraits by a Polk County artist named Ronald Malone. And he was really struck by church hats, specifically black families and black women wearing their really beautiful hats to church. And he worked with the Lesterall African American Museum here in Bartow and identified approximately 20 women to have their portrait painted in their hats. And so he has those on display at the History Center. And we've been very fortunate that we've also got a series of hats on display as well. So it's a really great opportunity to walk through and explore the culture of hat wearing, right down to the millinery work. So how are the hats produced? How are they made? And some of them are just absolutely stunning.
And how old is that hat right there?
This hat is probably 1950s, so mid-century, and we've got several on display that span probably the 50s up through current day.
And it looks like it could be worn today and, and be part of current fashion.
Well, the great news is they take very good care of their hats. Women, when we purchase them, we put them in hat boxes, and we have a complimentary display at the History Center of hat boxes that have been on loan to us from the Lake Wales History Museum. So it's kind of the whole hat experience.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yes,
would you call that hat?
This is my Agent Carter hat. One of our staff members purchased it for the hat exhibit. And yes, it has, if you wear a striking blue blazer with it, you might look like a certain comic book character.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
So what else we got going on?
So we have some different March events to celebrate women's history. Of course, the hat exhibit will be up. We explore the 19th Amendment Gallery up next to the 1926 courtroom and look at some of the remarkable women that have influenced history in Polk County, whether that's Grace Knight Babson in the Babson Park area, or Bertha Henshaw, who didn't found Chalet Suzanne, but man, she made Chalet Suzanne.
Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
And, Mary Jewett in Winter Haven. So we're really going to focus on celebrating the accomplishments of women in the county. And one of our favorite communities, Kathleen, is going to be dedicating a historic marker for their school. Really fascinating. The school started as a strawberry school and was founded in the 1880s, and then the actual school building was built in 1928. And I call it our sister building because it was designed by the same architect, E.C. Hosford, that designed the Polk County History Center.
So when you go in there, do you see things that are similar?
A little bit. So what's really interesting is Mr. Hosford actually designed several schools in the county. So if you look at Kathleen, what's known today as Kathleen Middle School, Purcell Elementary in Mulberry, Medulla Elementary, and Eastside Grammar School, which is now the Haines City Elementary School, and Daniel Jenkins Academy. They all have very similar architectural styles, even Eagle Lake. It's now the Linda Weldon Community Center, but it was the Eagle Lake Elementary School, and it's really interesting. down from the framing of the windows to the brick and some of the artistic elements. They all are, it's almost like he had an IKEA of buildings, you know? Here's what I do, tell me what you like, what you don't like, and we can modify it, but they are all very strikingly similar.
What else we got going on?
So after...
you struck me with that IKEA thing.
I know.
I can't get that out of my head.
It's really interesting because he shows up over and over again in the school board minutes as being the architect selected for the program. So yeah, he's a very fascinating man. Now, speaking of historic buildings, our genealogy speaker series for the month of March is really going to focus on historic buildings. And how does that relate to genealogy? Well, it's an often overlooked resource for tracking your family. So land deeds will have the name of the landowner, and then each time it transitions from one to the other, it creates a record. And a lot of people don't think to look there when they're trying to track their family histories. So Preston, our research historian, has lined up a really great presenter for that program. And that gets us through March. We're just looking forward to celebrating the spring. Bloomin' Arts will be occurring in Bartow as well, and Ronald Malone, who painted the portraits of the women in their church hats, is going to be displaying at Bloomin' Arts. So it's a really exciting time here in Bartow and at the History Center.
For those that have never gone before, we got just a few minutes left, what I'd like you to do is inspire them to come for the first time. And for those that have been there before, you know, the view changes.
Yes, it does, quite often.
Inspire them to come back.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest inspiration of the History Center and our biggest artifact is the building itself. It's absolutely beautiful, and if you're really kind of interested in getting your feet wet, the best way to do that is to come on the third Saturday of every month, and we offer an architectural tour at 11 o'clock. And this is a curated, personal tour that we walk you around the building. We tell you about the history of the county, but we talk about the artistic and the architectural elements of the building. And it's a really great 1 hour opportunity to kind of get your feet wet and then come back and explore over and over again. And if you haven't been in 2022, some of the things that are new, you know, we have the 19th Amendment Gallery. We're going to be opening this summer another exhibit about the cities of Polk County. So we'll go city by city all the way from Auburndale to Babson Park, to Hillcrest Heights, even our little friends in Frostproof, and explore the foundings of the cities. And that's going to be opening up this summer, so you definitely have to come back. I'm going to keep a tally to see who comes from every city and get some bragging rights city by city. I'm really pulling for Auburndale, but you know, those Lake Wales people, they show up in force when they come out.
I got to tell you, my favorite thing to do really when I'm over there, and I know no one else is around, if we're shooting an event, doing whatever, waiting for it to start, I like to go through the historical courtroom when no one's in there. And usually I'm wearing boots, and it's just the acoustics of that historic courtroom as you walk across that hardwood floor is just one of the most incredibly sounding things to me.
It's very inspiring, and you feel very much the greatness of the room when you walk across it and you hear those acoustics. You can only imagine what it was like in 1910 when they were holding court in there.
Well, Jamie, you're going to come back and see us next month and let us know what's going on in April, aren't you?
Yes, very excited for April, too. It's my favorite month.
All right, always good to see you.
Thank you.
Polk County has a rich history and heritage, and the Polk County History Center is continuously thinking of new ways to help Polk residents experience that history. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk County and the greater Central Florida area that represent our history from pre-Columbian to present-day eras. The artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and the events significant to the region. Now, it's located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow. The History Center is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. And if you need more information on exhibits, events, or anything else, you can check them out on the web at polkhistorycenter.org or give them a call, 863-534-4386.